My name is Yasaki Onoda. I'm very honored to be here, but on the other hand, I'm so afraid of, your, how can I say, tolerance is almost reaching the limit, the avalanche, but please wait a little bit. Remember this case here? How can I get, oh yeah, this one. Sorry. And also, the staff distributed my full papers. So it's be helpful for you guys to understand what I would like to explain here is maybe, and I can save the time for you. Let me show. Okay. So let me start. To compare with the former speakers, what I'm speaking will be a little bit different. Not urban, but the architectural scale. But I hope my subject might be including a kind of wide range of urban issues from different aspects. Before I started the presentation, I would like to show you shortly about my works. This is my works. What I'm working is not only a researcher, but also a kind of planner and sometimes an architect. So like Sendai Meditech with Toyo Ito, and recently I did a kind of elementary school with Chimika, noted architect in Japan. And also, I don't have enough, I think I don't have enough time to show about Azure Studio in Busa, but already Professor Dosru and Professor Matsubara pointed out how precious time it was. I come here to lead this workshop also. This is the main part of Eurasian continent. So I come from, now we are here, Istanbul, and I come from here, Sendai, Japan. These are pointing out the city's population is over 1 million. So it's so many. And as Richard Rogers pointed out, the number of the city, population in urban area is dramatically increasing. In the middle of 21st century, it should be 75%. It means more than 2.5 times than 2000. Although the people who is living in rural area is a little bit decreasing. So it means the cities each other should compete very, how can I say, clearly. So city have to have a kind of very clear policy to survive such kind of situation. Okay, let me zoom in to Sendai. Okay, this is the main part of Sendai city. Sendai city is population is 1 million, and basically very important regional core in Japan, and famous as a city of trees. In Japan, we just have a basic regulation and rough and abstract land use zoning. And many cities, the historical shape of downtown were burned out in Second World War, unfortunately. It means it's difficult to control the city shape itself, and there are very few cues to represent the city identity. So what we can do? I think one possible approach, which I believe is should be to arrange good architecture at the very important points of cities. So this is the downtown of Sendai city, and this is a kind of urban border. So I coordinated two different contract architecture projects. One is located in the center of the city, the Sendai Mediatek, and the other is located urban border, the Arai public housing. So these two projects having different missions. One is to develop cultural creativity and to present kind of city identity. And the other is to soften social difficulties. So this is the basic data of Sendai Mediatek. So let me zoom. Yeah, Sendai Mediatek is located in the center of the city. It's very beautiful building. But at the beginning phase, the city didn't understand the possibility of Sendai Mediatek. So after I joined, I changed, how can I say, the purpose and the diagrams from this ordinary thing to kind of creative models. After that, Toyo Ito designed this functional, according to this functional diagrams. This is a result. So actually, Mediatek is not only beautiful architecture, but also So, but also very active building is. So there are a lot of activities. So, but it's sometimes it's a little bit difficult to prove how active it is and how good it is. So I measured the activities of people with using this device. So this one is how can I say, conventional building. Red part is people moving very quick, and this part, the blue part, is people staying very stable. So this is a clear contrast, red and blue. But on Sendai Mediatek, it's a kind of undulations, very, how can I say, continuous undulation we can see. So I think it's a kind of key of creativity. And let me change the gear to another one. Arai public housing. So this is Arai public housing. So this is a conventional public housing. So it's not so special. Usually we have such kind of circumstance. But I don't like, and like Cosmina pointed out before my presentation, and I would like to change this situation from this to like that, to, I can say, to make larger the public common space, and a little bit set limit the private space for private, and the soften these boundaries. So, and also I change the direction of dwellings. This is a, how can I say, conventional apartment house. People come in from north side. But in this schema, people coming from south side. It's a kind of a common space. So also form regulations. At last, we got this shape with talented architect Hitoshi Abe. Now he is charging of chair of Department of Architecture and Urban Design in UCLA. So this is a final form. It's very full. And the people enjoying in the space itself. And I'm not just a designer, so I have to prove how effective my schema it is. So this is a measurement after completed. So we can see community activities increasing dramatically. So maybe our approach should be succeed. I think also kind of a change of living style. This is an ordinary apartment, very isolated. But in this case, the kind of living space connecting common space. So buffer zone is very active. But the cities, they started a new development based on our experiment project, APH. Okay, 1 minute. And but they applied a living access system and tried to create an attractive open space. However, we couldn't participate this space because of our static public procurement rules. And this is a result. This is a new development, the result of a new development. This is a result of our APH. They're completely different, very, poor space they did. So that's why recently I shifted my research field from measuring the quality of space to finding effective procurement system for public buildings. So I often visited United Kingdom to see. This is a kind of network system to support PFI, private finance initiatives. So in UK, we can see a lot of layers to keep the quality of architectures. Now our Japanese system is very innocent.
And my research field is Chinese vernacular architecture. And I always do my research work from geography. So I compare China and Europe. They are quite similar. But one factor is very different, that is altitude. China's altitude is much higher than Europe. And then to deal with different climates, we have different type of vernacular buildings. The tent, cave buildings, and the Tibetan building with watchtower, and the courtier, bigger courtier, and I spent 1 minute to introduce some heritage, world heritage in China, in vernacular architecture. The first one is Huizhou villages. The second, Lijiang town in Yunnan province. And the third one is Kaiping Diaolo with watchtower. It is this building reflects the significant role of Kaiping people in the development of several countries, including South Asia, Australia, and North America. And then Hakka Earth Building in South China. Also, to be listed one is a village in Dong nationalities. And then forgive me to spend 1 more minute to propagandize my personal work. It's a book. Its name is Two Kiln Villages. The second one is the castle villages. There are a lot of castle-like villages in northern China. This is in Yue County, near the Great Wall. And the third one is a series of 5 books. It is about a path, a small Silk Road connecting 2 important rivers. These 5 books is my project during the past 4 years. Okay, let's go to the first one. Professor Bao Muping.
Thank you. My name is Bao Muping, and I show the picture. That is a caravan in my hometown. It's in Mongolia. Now it's one part of China, but we are the same ethnic group of Mongolian country. So today I want to talk about what linear architectural heritages are on the Stamp Road. Tibetan, Islamic, and Chinese cultural diffusion. So, at first, what is the concept of linear heritage? It is the conservation and the management of cultural roots, connecting systems of site and sightings. So the first case is beginning in 2003. And now there are 3 linear heritage programs in China. Just as yesterday, Professor Zhang Jie mentioned, there have the Silk Road project, the Great Canal project, also the Great Wall project. but you can see there haven't the stamp road project. So what is the stamp road? So there have the two parts of the stamp road. One is this is the town of Wuhan. It's a very important city because around there have so many tea and also other Chinese production in here. And this road is go through the Mongolian and to Moscow. This is the stamp road, the north part, and also the west part. This is from Mongolian. This is Huhout, the capital of Inner Mongolian, and through the Baotou, the big city now, and then go through. This is the old Silk Road, and the north part is the stamp road, and go to the Xinjiang province, and then into the Central Asia. So I want to talk about the stamp road as a heritage site. So there have many different cultures mixed along the stamp road. One is the Buddhist religions. It is as a Buddhist religion's root. So in 1578, Altan Han, he is the king of South Mongolian, made his capital in Huhout, and then found up the Dalai Lama institution. So we know the 48th Dalai Lama. It began from the Mongolian Han, and then in 1579, Tibetan Buddhism was reintroduced to Mongolian after the Yuan dynasty. The first Buddhist temple was built in Huhout, and that became a very important part of Mongolian culture. And then we can see some Buddhist city along the stamp road. For example, here is the capital of Inner Mongolia, Huhout, and also the very important commercial town, Dolonor, and also here Ulaanbaatar. The old name is Yekhule, and also the capital is the boundary city between the Russia and also Mongolian, and also Irkutsk, Ulan-Ude. So I showed the two pictures to let you know the Buddhist still very important in Mongolian daily life. This is the temple near my house. Just walk for 5 minutes. The morning view, and also this take the photo of my hometown. So now I show the city. The dark part is the very huge temple in Huhout. And this is the temple's style. So we can see the Buddhism is introduced from Tibet to Mongolian, but the architecture style is very mixed. So I think the mixed style is just the Mongolian style. So this is the plan and the gate of the temples. And also this is the very important temple in Huhout. And we can see the Huhout, the original one is in Qinghai, in the West Kunbum temple. So we can see also the style is come from there. So we can see very clearly how the Buddhist culture along the stamp road to diffuse into Mongolian. And also this is a very important temple in Jungar, in Ordos Inner Mongolian. And this is the plan of the temples and also section. So you can see the temple is very, I think that's, yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, so this plan is very typical plan in Inner Mongolian, and also I do measure of the temples, and also for research the temples I do the survey more than 20,000 kilometers in Inner Mongolian and do the survey. Now I show you very fast. This is Ulaanbaatar. I think Oyin Biling will show you again. This is the 20th century in the beginning, and also the temples in the city. And this one is in Russia. Now is in Russia. It's also a part of Mongolian ethnic group. And you can see when I see the plan, I'm so surprised. At first, I think it's a church, but it's exactly a temple. So you can see the culture has mixed so many other cultures. And I do some research also on the books. This is books published in Ulaanbaatar, and I translate to traditional Mongolian language and also Chinese. Next year I will publish this book. And also stamp road as a trade road. In 18th centuries, China concluded the capital treaty with Russia. So many Chinese merchants came to Mongolia do business. So we can see the Great Wall, and the south is agricultural society, and the north is the nomadic. You can see here is so many. So it's very clearly it's a cultural boundary. And also we can see the Han Chinese culture part and also the other cultures. And then there have the business from with China and Russia and also Central Asia. The tea comes through to Mongolia and also Russia and Central Asia, and the far go to China. And the merchant is come from Shanxi province. This is the tea. It's not Chinese tea. It's the brick tea. It's the main trade goods. And this is you can see this shape, and also the wood production is come from Mongolian will be to China. So because the trade there were so many Chinese business town was appeared along the stamp road. For example, I will show the Huhat, Ulaanbaatar, and also Kafta. So this is Kafta Chinatown. We see it in Mongolian Naimanhat or Maimanhat. This is 18th century. And also this is the remaining part of China shop in Ulaanbaatar. And I do the survey for a general city old town of Huhat. And you can see they are the immigrant from Shanxi province to Mongolian, and this is inside of the house. And also the Chinese bring their religions. This is a Chinese Taoist temple. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is a Guandi temple in Huhat, and also there have very important architecture is Caravanserai. It's in Huhat, so the yellow part is the Caravanserai in Huhat, and you can see there have the courtyard for camels, and also the guest house, also the warehouse place. So it's very international buildings for the merchants. This is one of the most famous caravanserai in Huhat. The name is Da Shenghui. You can see they just use the courtyard in the old city. It's not beautiful or bigger like yesterday we saw in Russia or in Europe, but they still have something. This is one part of the caravanserai. You can see this is just one part. The original, they have very big area. So that is the architecture style of caravanserai in Huhat. And because there are so many time, so I just first show you another the west stamp road. It go to the Central Asia. They bring the Islam architecture from here to Xinjiang province. That is because also in the 19th century, Russia and China concluded the treaty, Tarabakadai and also Ili, the two treaty. So that made the merchant came to there. And this is the cities, and this is the mosque in Huhat, and inside of the mosque. And this is a sample for Huhat. We can see the different ethnic group. This is Manchurias. The green part is Mongolian zone, and the blue part is Islamic zone. The dark part is Chinese zone. We can see along the stamp road, the city are a mixed ethnic group spatial structure. And this is Urumqi. Because we haven't time, I don't talk too much. This is a Russian people area and Uyghur area, and also the Han Chinese. This is a mosque from Central Asia's Tatar people's mosque, and this is the plan of that. This is Muslims mosque come from Shanxi province. They built the mosque in Urumqi. So that's the conclusion. What could be the architectural heritage along the stamp road? So I think the religious buildings, also the commercial facilities, and also the residence of different ethnic groups, also the market spaces, customs houses, and also the road and its facilities. The final is the special structure with different ethnic groups residential areas. That is my talk. Thank you very much.
And she also reminded us the other very important road. We all know Silk Road, but Professor Bao was talking about the Tea Road. About Tea Road, we can check the information from the other way. We don't need to discuss here. So let's welcome, before the next one, I have to announce that after the second speaker, we need this kind of things to help us to understand. So you can go out and have this machine during the second speaker's time. And then the second speaker time is Professor Mark Mirovich.
Irkutsk, capital of Eastern Siberia. It's located on the Unik river Angara, following from the Lake Baikal. Irkutsk is administrative center of one of the largest regions of Russia. Irkutsk, cultural capital from Siberia. Irkutsk is both typical and unique Siberian city. Typical because it's aroused similar to all other cities on the eastern suburb of Russia in the 18th century. As a result, colonial policy, first it was established as a stronghold for Kazakhs, then as a wooden food and fortress, and after that as a stone fortress with wooden administrative and residential buildings. The city expanded rapidly. The territory around the fortress was built. Only religious, administrative, and separate public buildings were built in stone. Irkutsk was built only with 1-2-story wooden apartment houses. The city territory quickly extended, but the fire of 1879 destroyed most of the city. After the fire, Irkutsk was very quickly built up anew. On the cities of the burned down houses, there were new modern and stone buildings. Their styles not different from ones they replaced. In fact, these buildings remain until now are the same as they were 200 years old. Today, Irkutsk today remind separate building and large fragments, blocks of the wooden residential environment. The historical landscape, stone walls and trees also remained in place. For example, today, the separate wooden apartments houses from 19th, 18th century has remained. For example, 1910 and this house today. Groups of inhabited wooden houses of 19th, 18th century has remained. Ensembles of religion building built in stone and in an environment of wooden apartment houses are also in place. The large blocks of the traditional wooden apartment houses has remained in the central part of Irkutsk. I was born and sometimes to live in such wooden house. Then this wooden house has been taken down and on its place has constructed a new apartment house. The residential wooden architecture surprises with the splendor of its decorations. It's the main historical value of modern Irkutsk. On the facades of these wooden houses rests the culture and spirit of the people of Siberia, their ideas about beauty and their belief in existence of kind and evil forces of nature is embodied. The wooden decor has several styles. Siberian Baroque, other style, Old Slavic. Once more style, imitation of stone architecture in wood. Original style, mix it. The magic ornament cover facades of houses. It bears things of the sun and rain. Sun and rain. This bears things of the fields and plants. Fields and plants. It bears things of the seeds and sporting spring colors. And sporting spring colors. It contains the inexplicable forms which wait to be discovered by the researcher. It reflects national symbols and things of the people once living in Siberia. Sorry, this one. Okay. The magic ornament cover gates, windows, and doors, driving away evil ghosts. But they are not capable to protect from modern demons of enrichment. In value of decorative facades of wooden houses is not capable to change land prices beneath them. The majority of these houses do not have the monument status. An aspect for the unique decor have no other characteristic necessary for it. And the decorative ornaments of wooden houses do not rescue them from being torn down, as without water and a water drain, they are the present-day slums. But they also are the main cultural value of Irkutsk, of Siberia, subject of the world cultural heritage. I ask for the help to the world community, to you. I don't know how to strengthen political weight of appeals of Irkutsk professionals, scientists, and art workers for preservation of modern wooden architecture. I don't know how to bypass the local authorities. I don't know how to transform slums into a true cultural value. But I know that if we do not make a decisive step, the Siberian wooden historical city environment will very soon be lost forever. Now, there is still a chance to rescue it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mark, again. You teach me a lot about Russian vernacular architecture. So, the third one is Professor Nizami Nakiev.
Mr. Naziev will speak in Azeri, and there will be a translation, English translation, so maybe you may want to take from these translation things.
Hörmətli həmkarlar, mənim bu gün təqdim olunan işim memarlıq mühitinin sağlanma prinsipləri və kütləvi yaşayış tikintinin estetikası haqqındadır. Şəhərlərin inkişafının və yanaşılmasının araşdırılması göstərir ki, şəhərlər statik bir qurum deyil, ayrı-ayrı bölgələrin və regionların sosial-iqtisadi inkişafının xüsusiyyətlərindən asılı olaraq, onların sənaye istiqamətlərinin və başqa şəhər qurucu faktorlardan asılı olaraq bütün dövrlərdə və dünyanın bütün bölgələrində dinamik inkişafdadırlar. Bizim texniki yüksək inkişafın devrində bu dünyanın bütün regionlarına aiddir. Bu xüsusiyyətləri Azərbaycanda da görmək olar. Xüsusən Abşeron yarımadasında Bakı məskunlaşma sistemində, yəni Bakı və onun ətrafında olan kənd və qəsəbələrin birgə inkişafında. Axırıncı iki yüzillikdə balaca bir şəhər Bakı şəhəri, balaca bir şəhər 50 minlik şəhərdən 100 il müddətində böyük bir megapolisə çevrilmişdir və burada bu sxemdə göstərilən kimi deməli 19-cu əsrin axırlarında 700-800 minlik bir şəhərə çevrilmişdir. Öz tarixi inkişaf xüsusiyyətlərinə görə Bakı şəhəri çox maraqlı bir inkişaf yaşayış mühitinə malik olmuşdur. Deməli, bunun tərkibində orta əsrlərin şəhəri, qala divarların tərkibində orta əsrlər şəhəri, içəri şəhər adlanan bir mühit formalaşmışdır. Burada həmən göstərilir, həmən o tikirlər, Xan Saray və s. Ancaq bununla bərabər 19-cu əsrdə və 20-ci əsrin əvvəllərində kapitalizmin Bakıda və neftin deməli inkişafı ilə bağlı kapitalist devrin yeni tikirləri formalaşmışdır. Burada İsmailliyə, sonra bir sıra milyonçuların sarayını da göstərmək olar. Bununla bərabər, ancaq bu inkişaf 20-ci əsrin əvvəllərinə kimi inkişaf etmişdir. Deməli, inqilab devrində 1920-ci, 30-cu illərdə yeni bir mərhələ Bakıda formalaşmışdır. Həmin bu müasir memarlar, konstruktivizm, Avropanın inkişaf etmiş, deməli, yeni ideyalardan bəhrələnərək yeni memarlıq üslublarını başlamışdı Bakıda tətbiq eləməyə. Və o vaxtlar funksionalizm ya da konstruktivizm deyilən bir binalar Bakıda tikilmişdir. Bunları nümunə göstərmək olardı. İndi burada da gördünüz siz. konstruktivizm binalarını. Neden biz ya скажу, когда двигать. Обратно. Konstruktivizm binaları 30-cu illərə kimi deməli Bakıda inkişaf edirdi. Ancaq bunlarla bağlı bir sıra binalar tikilərək həmən o devirdə bu inkişaf dayanmışdır və yeni mərhələ başlanmışdır. Azərbaycan memarları müasir binalarla bərabər başlamışdır milli ənənələri tətbiq eləməyə. Burada eklektik nümunələr də əvvəllər olmuşdur. Ancaq sonralar Mikhail Hüseynovun, Həsən Mecidovun, sonra Hənifə Əlişkerovun, Qəzənfər Əlizadənin əsərlərində biz görürük ki, bu ənənələr inkişaf edərək çox gözəl nümunələr təqdim olunmuşdur. Bakının bu devirdə böyük inkişaf mərhələ də olmuşdur. Küçələr enliləşirdi, şəhər ümumiyyətlə rekonstruksiya olunurdur və yeni meydanlar əmələ gəlmişdir. Bu meydanların içində Azadlıq meydanı, Nizami meydanı, sonra Elmlər Akademiyasının qarşısındakı meydan, Dəmir yol vağzalının qabağındakı meydan və bir sıra geniş meydanlar formalaşmışdı həmin o binalarla tikilərək. Ancaq Mikhail Hüseynovun əsərlərindən bir sıra müsbət binalar göstərmək olar. Bunların içində Axundov adına kitabxana, sonra və ayrı-ayrı binalar, konservatoriyanın binası, bundan əlavə bu müasir milli ənənələr bu binalarda yaşayış binalarında da tətbiq olunmuşdur. Bunların içində deməli Qəzənfər Əlizadənin Mingəçör tikinti işçiləri üçün deməli tikilən yaşayış binası, Ənvər Qasımzadənin yaşayış kompleksi, sonra Azərbaycan Dram Teatrı və s. Bu yaşayış binaların içərisində qeyd eləmək olar o birisi binaları da. Məsələn, Mikhail Hüseynin tikdiyi alimlər evi və ayrı-ayrı binalar. Ancaq bu milli ənənələrlə nəzərdə tutulmuş, deməli, yeni bu binalar, 50-ci ildə tikilən binalar, 60-cı illərdə bu proses biraz ayrı formaya düşmüşdü və kütləvi tikinti kompleksləri başlamışdı Bakıda tikilməyə. Bunun gözəl nümunələri var idi Bakıda. Özü də bu təkliflərin böyük müsbət cəhəti də var idi. Mən buna qeyd eləmək istəyirəm. Burada qeyd eləməsə bu nədən ibarətdir? Deməli, o vaxtlar bu gördüyünüz kimi Bakının o milli xüsusiyyətlərini nəzərə alaraq o kütləvi tikintini şəhərin tarixi mühitin içində inşa edilməyə icazə vermirdilər. Və o kütləvi 60-cı illərdə, 70-ci ildə kütləvi tikintinin şəhərin kənarında, qıraq zonalarda icazə verilirlər tikməyə və onun da əvvəl biraz axtarışlar olduğuna baxmayaraq gələcəkdə çox müsbət və gözəl nümunələri var idi. Məsələn, yeni qəsəbələr salınmışdır, mikrorayonlar tikilirdi. Onun da nümunələrini siz burada görürsünüz. Ancaq axırı vaxtlar, deməli, Azərbaycan, burada xırdalamıram, onun estetikasının öz xüsusiyyətlərini burada mən araşdırmışdım. Ancaq axırı vaxtlar, deməli, bizim Bakıda böyük yeni o neftin yeni inkişaf mərhələsi ilə bağlı böyük tikinti prosesi gedir və çox narahatçılıq yaradır bu. Nə ilə bu bağlıdır? Çünki həmən bu yeni tikililər tarixi mühitin içində başlanıb yerləşdirməyə. Bu da çox vaxt elə müsbət həll olunmur. Çünki o deməli o yeni tikililər müasir inşaat materiallarla, plastiklə, betonla, üşüşlə inşa edilərkən onlar öz memarlıq forması ilə o daşdan tikilmiş orta əsrlər, deməli 40-cı, 50-ci ildə tikilən binalarla antagonizm yaradırlar və uyğunluq yoxdur orada. Bu bizi narahat edir və mənə elə gəlir ki, bu beynəlxalq konqresi istifadə edərək bəlkə elə bir təkliflər hazırlamaq olar ki, onlar doğrudan da buna gələcəkdə müsbət həll olunmağa bu məsələyə köməklik edərdi. Çünki bu niyə mən bunu indi qeyd edirəm? Çünki doğrudan da bu tək elə Bakıya aid deyil. Burada bir neçə birisi şəhərlərdə də, birisi dövlətlərdə də bu bəzi çıxışlarda mən hiss elədim ki, belə bir proseslər ayrı şəhərlərdə də deməli nəzərdən keçirilir, görsənir. Çox sağ olun, minnətdaram.
In time. Okay, I think Professor Miyake's talk might be familiar as well as unfamiliar to some of us because many architects in Western countries are struggling to search the identity for their own people. These are words to think about this problem. Okay, let's move to the next. Professor Shinobu Yamaguchi.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yume Yamaguchi from Tokyo Institute of Technology. The areas of research is the application of the technology to promote the sustainable development. So I use the concept of the integrated conservation, meaning trying to combine two multiple different disciplines to promote the sustainable conservation. But today, in order to fit into this session of Heritage Network Beyond Border, I would like to bring my previous background of having worked for UNESCO, and I'd like to show and evaluate the importance of networking among the heritage, the site in different countries in Asia. And in fact, I was quite happy this morning to hear about this concept of the capital local and global local, because if we consider the sustainable heritage conservation, it is quite vital to consider this localized participatory approach to promote the heritage, the conservation. So having said that, I would quickly cover the evolving definition of integrated conservation, and as one of the networking, the project called the Community Participation LEAP, the project, and introduce a few the cases, identifying the practical examples. Okay, so the integrated conservation, this word came out in 1970s as earlier definition. It is read as integrated conservation is achieved by the application of the sensitive restoration of techniques. So by the European Charter in 1975. So it started out as a restoration technique to promote the conservation, and followed by the Declaration of Amsterdam. The conservation of the architectural heritage should become an integral part of the urban and regional planning. So this was the first time that they started to talk about the integration of the heritage preservation to urban planning. And during the 80s, this is said in the Washington Charter, and this is the first time that they mentioned the conservation of the historic town should be an integral part of coherent policies. So the policy implications came out for the first time in 1987. Okay. And as a recent definition is identified by the ICROM expert, the integrated conservation means integration of the concern for and protection of cultural heritage within a general process of planning and management of cities and regions. So now it really focuses on the process. Okay? Therefore, if you consider the integrated conservation, this process involving the communities into this process becomes quite important. Okay. So, having said that, it is actually has to be looked at from the three different levels: policy level, economic, cultural, environmental field of knowledge, planning level, housing, infrastructure, culture, education, and economy, and project level, starting from local culture, the heritage, the element. Okay. Now, I would consider the key to success for the integrated conservation as the conservation plan needs to be a part of regional development strategy in line with priority of other sectors in development, hands in hand, and shared understanding and support from local community and government to identify the importance of the public awareness. Okay, so as these concepts as a background, I would like to introduce quite important UNESCO initiatives in Asian countries. It is called LEAP, Local Effort and Preservation. Main objectives of such a project are the people-centered empowerment of local community and deepen understanding of the citizens to make it important to have local heritage in their community, and of course benefiting from the heritage, the conservation. And it was carried out in 8 different project sites in heritage sites in Asia, but they follow 10 similar steps, from heritage conservation and community participation, practical training, to the education through the heritage protection, and sometimes using a microcredit system and the introduction of the ICT. So these are the 8 sites covered in a LEAP project. Since my time is limited, I would only cover 3 countries, namely Luang Prabang, Laos, Kathmandu, Nepal, one more city in Nepal, and the Vietnam. Okay, the case of the Luang Prabang, I have a quick 2 interesting cases. One is called the Cultural Survival Project in Luang Prabang, and beneficiary population is actually the young monks gathering from the rural areas. So this really aimed at educating the young monks for providing a traditional crafts and technical skills to actually rehabilitate the traditional architecture, including the temples. Okay. Why is it the part of the integrated conservation? Because the project organization was done by multiple departments, including the Culture and Information, Monks Association, Department of Education, and they formulated the project committee, including multiple stakeholders of the local government, teachers, various leaders, monks, professional craftsmen, and UNESCO, and then created the curriculum actually to train the monks to professionally, working with the professional craftsmen to rehabilitate the temples. Okay, so with the teachers and professionals, they actually they received the practical training in several identified temples, including sculpture, wooden carving, bronze work, drawing, and so on. So it lasted for 2 years, and those monks actually returned to their local villages and spreading their experiences. Okay. And this is another program in Luang Prabang. It's a community participation for the street renovation. And actually, both main and small street of Luang Prabang had been renovated to have a unified street design in its landscape. And each village was contracted by the French Development Bank, and they have submitted their design, approved, and they were given the contract actually to implement this renovation and also maintaining those roads until now. So it lasted over 10 years now. Okay, so if you look at the importance of this project, that since they have used low-cost local materials, techniques, and local labor, it cost only $10,000 for 20 meters the paved road, and it is being still maintained by the villagers. Okay, and this is example of the Nepal Bhakta pole. This is a totally different the model. This was really targeted specifically for restoring the traditional old mills, because this town was really identified as a industrial heritage site of using these old mills. And it really aimed at establishing a link between the cultural preservation and social economy development, because majority of the citizens, they're engaged in the mill, the work. Okay, so they really revitalized the traditional lifestyle of inhabitants through the restoration of the two mustard old mills. So these are the process they actually took part in. Okay, this is rather the bigger project in Kathmandu, Nepal. Development of the heritage homeowners preservation manual. It really aimed at building a local capacity in heritage preservation, and it took quite some time to actually come up with the important items to cater the population, the resident, use such a manual to practically and effectively and efficiently used for the house restoration. So it served as a guideline for the homeowners to maintain historic properties using appropriate conservation technique. Okay, so this is one of the example in the manual. This it's really the basic purpose is to provide a practical solution to restore the houses, provide references for the international standard and rules, and facilitate communication between homeowners and contractors. So the homeowner, they become a part of this process of the heritage conservation. Okay? And also to provide further resources to enable appropriate sourcing of the materials and skilled craftsmen. Okay? So the community, they do work with professional craftsmen, and they learn such a process. Okay, so this is the example of like a checklist, okay, in a manual that the content it consists of 8 chapters, and for each chapter, the homeowners who are interested in preservation or rehabilitation, they can check the items that they can go into the actual rules and regulations. Okay, so it really served as a part of the education of the citizens. Oh, this is examples of the preservation manual, the content from old house to new house. Okay, and this is the example of the question and answer format. Okay, so they gathered the typical example of the questions homeowners often ask, and they come up with the Q&A. The section. Okay. So the Hoi An, the Vietnam. Okay, many of you has visited Hoi An last summer, so I think you still have a vivid memory. And the Hoi An also participated as a part of this LEAP, the project, to create the models for the cooperation among stakeholders. They actually came up with the modules by case study, workshop, action plan, and actual testing of the models. And those 4 modules, they created ranging from the models for the physical management of heritage conservation, models for the investment of tourism industry, and models for the community education skill training leading to employment. This is quite important. And models for the conflict resolution. So when there is a conflict among the different stakeholders, how to solve. Okay. So this was actually the quite a bottom-up approach, the process. And this is not the part of the LEAP project. However, we found it quite interesting as a revitalization of intangible culture, how the local community being a part of the process. This is quite similar to the monks project in Luangprabang, but they really spread into a different village and come up with the promoting localized the project and the product. And so far, 200 skilled woodworkers has been participating and educating the partners. Okay. And this is another rehabilitation of the socio-economic activities in one street in Hoi An, as you may have remembered, and that was a part of the rehabilitation, a revitalization of the socio-economic activities. This is the before and after of the preservation. One last slide. Okay. So, as you could see, it is quite important to find out the stakeholders, important stakeholders from three, I would say, major as a partners, the residents, developers, and officials and professionals for the sustainable, the conservations. So I hope those the project examples in as a LEAP network in 4 countries in Asia could serve as an example for developing the network, the Beyond Borders. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My presentation is about the city wall of Nanjing, and this discussion bases on the plan compiled by our research team. Present-day Nanjing is the capital of Jiangsu province of China, and it is located on the southeast of the Yangtze River and surrounded by hills from the north to the east. The Qinghai River and some other small hills wind along the south, and this site is very important from the military view of point. Before 1911, there are 3 main stages of construction of the city wall in Nanjing. In these 3 periods, the site of the present-day Nanjing was either a political center of a local kingdom or capital of an empire. Here is a series of history maps of China. They show us the situation when the city was conceived and constructed. The first city constructed here is Stone City, built by the emperor of Wu Kingdom in the period of 3 kingdoms. It was constructed around the Qingliangshan Hill, and Yangtze River was around its west. In 229, Sun Quan chose Jianye as the capital of Wu Kingdom and built a city wall. Jianye was the political center of Wu Kingdom, while the Stone City was a fortification along the Yangtze River, and these 2 cities were destroyed in 589. In 937, the Southern Tang Dynasty chose Jingling as its capital. This is the inferred scope of this city. It was maintained until being enlarged in 1366. Then in 1368, Zhu Yuanzhang, the first emperor of Ming Dynasty, chose this site as the capital of his empire and started to expand the old city. Finally, the west of the new city was built on the basis of the Stone City, and the southwest of the part was built on the wall from Southern Tang Dynasty, and the new section expands towards the east and the northwest, and enclosed the highland along the Yangtze River into the city. By 1390, the outer city wall of Nanjing was also completed. It extends from the riverside of the Yangtze River to east and south, enclosed most of the important highlands out of the main city of Nanjing. Finally, the city wall of Nanjing includes an inner city wall and an outer city wall. The total length of the former is about 35 kilometers, and its height ranges from 2 to 26 meters, and it was dressed by bricks. The length of the outer city wall is about 60 kilometers. There were 13 city gates along the inner city wall and 18 along the outer city wall. Before 1911, as a physical boundary, the city wall is of paramount importance for the city in administration and military. It is a defense system, includes the moat, the city wall, and the city gates and the city gate towers. According to the study of the history, we can summarize some features of it. First, the shape of the city wall indicates that the city's development was affected by the landform. Second, the large scale of the city wall and the organization of the project is spectacular. The scale of the labor and the material resources mobilized for the project revealed the ambition and the efficiency of the Emperor Zhu Yuanzhang. The names of the officers, as we can see from this picture, and the craftsmen who were responsible for the making and transporting the bricks of the wall were printed on the bricks. We can still identify them on the bricks today. These descriptions tell us that the labor and the bricks supplied from all over the country. And the third, the layout of the city wall took advantage of the scattered hills. From the structural point of view, a wall wrapping the hill, that means a wall around and adhere the hill, became the character of the city wall in Nanjing. In this photo, we can see the wall wanders following the tendency of the hill. And here is a section of this kind of wall wrapping the hill. However, the city wall, which had secured the city as safe defense and formed a physical border of it, has become an obstacle to the development of the city. First, the contradictions between the traffic and the city wall become increasingly acute. New road was built crossing and breaking the city wall. For example, this is Zhongshan Gate. It was opened in 1929 for the Zhongshan Road. In the capital plan published in 1929, the planner also considered changing the city wall to an avenue around the city, and the outer city wall indeed became a road around the city after 1930s. And high-density urban areas spread so rapidly that they began to occupy the land beside the city wall and erode the landform relevant to it. Some buildings even constructed on the relics of the wall and destroyed the base. By the middle of the 1950s, much of the inner city wall was collapsed and threatened the buildings close to the wall. Therefore, the government planned to demolish the wall. This picture shows the detail of the demolition. So, after such a long history of construction and demolition, here is the existing inner city wall. It is about 25 kilometers long, and these are the 20 existing gates. The existing outer city wall is about only 40 kilometers long, and no city gates in the outer city wall can be seen above the ground. Then people didn't realize the value of the city wall until 1980s. Today, the city wall has been regarded as cultural heritage, and conservation measures and reusing strategies have been mooted and brought into effect. The first important thing is to preserve the physical remains of the city wall and its historical settings. The boundaries of conservation areas and the buffer zone should be delimited in accordance with the situation of the city wall. And there are two levels of conservation zone. The inner one is conservation area marked by red line here, and the outer one is a buffer zone marked by green line. The conservation area is delimited in accordance with the textual criticism on the history of the city wall, the investigation on the city wall's present situation, and the shapes of the hills and the waters which the city wall depends on. And inside the conservation area will also delimited a boundary of planting in which no large tree is permitted. We also specifically defined activities that are forbidden in the conservation area. And the height of the buildings that will be constructed in the conservation zone is delimited according to the line of the site from some visual points toward the city wall. In response to the present situation of the city wall and its features, we devised technical measures to repair the city wall and to improve the environment around it. And the day-to-day monitoring and the maintenance are significant at all times. These tables describe the specific technical measures in response to the specific situation of the city wall. And there are 3 points in the conservation measures. First is improving the waterproof and the drainage condition of the wall wrapping the hill. Second is clearing up the plants adhered to the wall. And the third is dredging the moat and prevent it from pollution. To the city wall and the city gates which have no traces above the ground, we suggest archaeological investigation to figure out their location and scope. And according to their importance, we also point out the specific sites which should be investigated first. The features of the city wall should be displayed to the public by diversified ways. From our point of view, we think we should display the sections which can present the characteristics of the construction techniques of different times. For example, here are the relics of the stone city in the existing city wall. It was more than 300 meters long today, and the highest point is about 63.8 meters above the ground. The riverside of the Yangtze River is far away from this city today, but we can still identify the trace of the river erosion, and we can also find that the direction of the city wall is along that of the natural hill. And the bricks we can see now was dressed in 14th century. Second, we suggest restore part of the history environment or layouts. This is the site of Gaochao Gate. This is another example this is the gate of outer city wall. And no traces of this gate above the ground can be seen. However, the layout of the settlement around the site implies an arrangement composed by the wall, the gate, the moat, and the road through the gate. So, and more important, the people who live here still remember the story of the city wall and the city gate. So from our point of view, we suggest to restore the history environment and the layout of this site by urban design and keep the people stay here as possible. We also advise several tourist routes to associate the natural environment with the city wall and link the various display areas. On the condition of the contradiction between the city wall with the traffic, we suggest adjust the traffic plan and reduce the road crossing the city wall as far as possible. When the cross is inevitable, the road should cross above or underneath the city wall. With regard to the traffic on the outer city wall, our advice is to arrange roads parallel the city wall to evacuate the traffic from it. As we can see, these two lines. In order to harmonize the city wall with the development of the city, we should redefine the role of the city wall. In the comprehensive plan of Nanjing, the inner city wall has been considered as a ring of open green space surrounding the main urban area of Nanjing. A landscape planning of the inner city wall has been finished and formulated. And in the comprehensive ecological planning of Nanjing, the outer city wall connects some green wedges as a green corridor, and the landscape architects are working on the landscape design for the outer city wall these days. In the end, we suggest emphasize the city wall as landmarks of the city and design the entrance into the city to establish a sense of entrance right. That means when people come towards the city and enter into the entrance, they will strongly realize that they are entering into a specific area. So this is an example of a Chilling Gate. It's a gate of the outer city wall. Its original site is here, on the south of the cross of the highway and the outer city wall. And this highway is very important. It links Shanghai and Nanjing. So we suggest build a park of the ruin of the gate on the original site, but build 2 landmarks on the top of the hills on the both sides of the highway. So in summary, because of its large scale, cultural heritage like the city wall of Nanjing is always in conflict with the city in land use and traffic. And we think the key of the conservation and reusing strategy is to re-establish the relationship between the cultural heritage and the modern city. And redefine the role of the heritage in the comprehensive urban plan is a matter of the utmost importance. Thank you.
City wall was a typical sign in Chinese historical cities, but it was not well protected for a long time. Now we have a piece of good news. Thank you, Zhuge Jing. And then we don't have time for copy. We don't have time for question. So Mr. Yamamoto will introduce next moderator. My job is over. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. According to the symposium paper, there are 5 speakers, but I think Naoko Fukami is not here. Therefore, in that session, 7th session, we have 4 speakers, and also we have 1 hour. It means each speaker has 15 minutes. And you know the management rules. When moderator stands up, speaker has 3 or 2 minutes. And if it is okay, I can start the session. The session name is called Heritage Management and Cultural Policy. The first speaker, Mr. Dan Anrong. He's a professor at Tsinghua University, Beijing. Is it true? Okay. You can start your presentation in 30 seconds. Your presentation is ready here? Okay. Yes. Okay. You can start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be here to give a presentation related to the new technology applications for the conservation of cultural heritage. My name is Anrong Dan from Tsinghua University, China. So I organized my presentation into 5 parts: the introduction, the characteristics of the new technology we call the spatial information technology, and the demands of the heritage conservations. And I pay more attention to the our case studies, how to use the information technology to help us to do the heritage conservation, and then the conclusion. So as the brief introduction is that actually in China we have the large territory, and all of the cultural heritages or the rich cultural heritages spread or distributed in all the large area of the territory. So we need the spatial information technology like the remote sensing or related technology to help us to do this kind of conservation. So in recent years, the application of spatial information technology to do the heritage conservation is a hot topic. So that's why I played the role in Tsinghua University to try my best to use this kind of new technology to help the planners to do their planning. The second part, just beginning here, before I talking about the characteristics of the spatial information technology, I'd better to just to, emphasize the information, very brief concepts of the spatial information technology. Basically, when we say the spatial information technology, we stand for the those kind of techniques which acquiring information, the managing information, processing information, analyzing information, and displaying the informations related to spatial coordinations. Those kind of information technology includes the remote sensing, GIS, global position system, and also the virtual reality. All of those technologies developed since the 1960s. So I summarized all those kind of characteristics of the spatial information technology into five points. The first one is objectivity. When we use the information to acquire what we need, those kind of spatial data, it's have the objectives. So another kind of characteristics is the accuracy for positioning. And the third one is very convenient for information management. And then it's for the spatial analysis is very, very spatially. And also the last one is the visualization. I just explain it very briefly. When we talk about the objectivity of the information acquiring, we basically refers to for the remote sensing. Actually, remote sensing is a technology that acquire the spatial information by a distance. It's not, in touch with those kind of object which you are interested, but from a distance and use a special equipment, so we call that the sensor, to acquire the information. Say, for example, in last year, the United States-based business company satellite launched a satellite called GeoEye-1, which can acquire the 0.45 meters resolution data. That means, from the more than 500 kilometers high in the outer space, the satellite can see those small object, which is 0.45 minus Mars, the 0.45, those kind of small objects. The second characteristic is the accuracy for information positioning. Basically refer to the global position system based on the space satellite systems, which are composed of 24 satellites. Everybody, if you have the GPS receiver or any kind of the landforms or locations, you can, to identify your locations. And there are many kinds of the receivers. I think maybe most of us here using the vehicle carried receiver to guide us to to drive mobiles. So the third way is the convenience for information management. Basically, we refer to the GIS. So by using the GIS, we can manage all kinds of the data, integrate the spatial data with the attribute data. Actually, we can, if we use GIS, we can just, to replace the CAD and also management information system. And the fourth way is the analysis. Basically, if we use the GIS, we can do lots of spatial analysis based on the database. Here, I just mentioned part of them, like, the overlay analysis, buffer analysis, network analysis. Somebody maybe use the Google Earth or Google Maps. So basically, when we use the Google Earth to searching some route, or like the shortest route or those kind of operations, it's actually based on the network analysis. Here, just two examples. And the final one, characteristics of the spatial information technology, is the visualization. Actually, visualization is one of the techniques. It includes many kind of technologies. Among them, the virtual reality basically used very well, or very popular in recent years for the urban and regional planning, as well as for the cultural heritage conservations. Okay, that's the characteristics of the spatial information technology. Why I talk about that? Because, actually the demands of the conservations based on those characteristics. So let's move to the third part of the demands of conservation. Actually, for the cultural heritage planning and the management, basically our work can be divided into three stages or three steps. The first way is to do the investigation and evaluation. And based on that, basically we do the planning and management. And the final goals for us is to the utilization, conservation, and development. So for all of those periods, actually we need to use the spatial information technology to support us to do something. For example, in the investigation and evaluation period, we need to get the spatial distribution and their relationship of the cultural heritages. And for those kind of information, we need to do the detailed surveying, and then we need to do some quantitative identifiers for those cultural heritages. And later we need to manage all those kind of spatial data, and then to do some evaluation analysis. That's the first step. The second step is basically to do the many kinds of planning, like the master planning, the detailed planning, the conservation planning, and then for the management. So basically we're doing like the classification, the division, those kind of planning, and also the general or master planning and detailed planning. And also sometimes for the request of the UNESCO, we need to do the monitoring systems for monitor the change of those kind of heritages. That's the second step. The third way is for the the utilization and development. Basically, we need to make clear when to be, and where and who and how to utilize of those kind of heritages, and as well as for the conservations. And also we need to know or to analyze the factors who affects the development or utilizations. There are two kinds of factors. One is the exogenous, another is the essentials. All those kind of work need to be done during the planning and management for the cultural heritages. So because of that, we need to use the spatial information technology to help us to do those kind of work. The first part for my presentation is that some kind of case studies from the a region, a city, and a village. So I selected three of the examples. One is for the Beijing city. So everybody, I think, know the it's World Heritage, cultural heritage of here Beijing city. If it was not constructed so much new buildings or new areas. So our study started from the current situations. One of the current situations is that we based on the satellite image, actually from the United States business company, to buy this kind of remote sensing image. Okay. And then another one is the current conservation systems. Those two inputs is very important for us to do the further management on conservation planning. And based on the satellite image, we can know the current situations of the courtyard and hutong systems of the old Beijing city, and those are the distributions of that kind of heritages. And based on this kind of analysis, we make some decisions for the new conservations. And at the same time, we try to use the virtual reality to do the modeling, and we use the RS or remote sensing image to do the virtual reality model. We use the 3D GIS components to do the GIS-based virtual reality model, and also integrate those GIS and RS model together to help us to make some ideas. And at the same time, we're doing the 3D virtual reality model for the virtual Beijing or digital Beijing. And based on those kind of analysis, we develop this kind of management information system for the managers to help them to do their daily manage. The second example is the county. Actually, this county is located in the middle of China, and there were lots of cultural heritages distributed in all the county. We can see some Taoist temples, the paper carting, some famous composers' hometown, and unique temples just standing besides the Yellow River, dancing, local music, local song, and some kind of performance. So what we have done is using the spatial information technology to firstly to distribute their distributions, and then to classify them and to evaluate them. Those are the basic work or basic analysis for us to do the final planning, conservation planning. So during the planning period, we're doing the first the spatial structure for the conservation, and then the strategies and approaches for the detailed planning for the conservation and utilization. The third example is just briefly, it's my hometown, Dangjiashan village. So from this picture, you can see the relationship between the human beings and the nature environment. So the cave dwellings in this area is very, very famous, and with many kinds of very unique characteristics, like the greenhouse, the green architecture, the sustainable architecture, all those kind of advantages. And this is the typical cave dwellings in this village or this area, and there are many kind of the traditional activities here by carrying the water or the millstone to make flour, the tilling earth, and also other kind of traditional culture need to be conserved. And what we have done is also use those kind of spatial information technology to analysis the which kind of the yard or with the cave dwellings is better, which way is just so, which way need to be conserved. Those kind of analysis like the style, the class, the material, and integrated all of those analysis together to support us to make ideas. Say, for example, this is just the quality analysis. So one of the yard, which is belong to the high quality, their situations, and also their plan. And then, based on those kind of analysis to do this kind of planning. This is a two-dimensional master planning for the whole village, and this is a 3D visualization for the major part, and also some kind of rebuilding materials, what kind of materials suitable for use. And just a summarize of that, in the investigation and analysis, we need to use the RS, GPS, and GIS. And in the conservation planning and management, we also can use this kind of information technology to do the analysis. And for the final stage to express all our planning results, we also need to use this kind of technology. And nowadays, we try our best to develop management information system and hand out it to the managers to help them to go in all this conservation work. Okay, that's my presentation. Actually, we need to use the spatial information technology, but lots of work need to be done. So that's all. Thank you so much for your attention.